Okay, following on from Baldy's little introduction yesterday, I thought I'd better do a little trial video of my own, just to prove I am a real Baldy. As you can see there from the baldness, I'll just put this back on. So I'm going to do a little tour of what is commonly known as the back garage. This, however, is my very yellow Capri. I think a man can only have one yellow car in his life, and I think there's very few cars that can carry yellow off. I looked for one for quite a few years, and various reds, whites. Yellow wasn't my most favourite colour, but at least it ain't brown, because no one likes brown. The other good thing about it is it hasn't got a vinyl roof, because I'm not a fan of those. So as you can see, we have paint, which is good. Vinyl, not so good, unless you want your roof to turn into a box of cornflakes once it starts leaking. So car started out as a 1600 XL. Someone took it upon themselves to change that to a 2 litre. Which I didn't think was not a reason to not buy the car, or a reason not to buy the car. As I say, Pintos are pretty decent. Not necessarily my weapon of choice always, but it does work. It is pretty reliable, and is more grateful than some other things that I dare mention. Nope, stop it. So yeah, all in all, this is a pretty sound car. It's got one tiny little bit of rust underneath. Those wheels, I ummed and ahed about these. And then I saw a yellow Mark 1 Escort with these on, and had to say that pretty much made my mind up. So I scored those. The only thing I would say about them is that they arguably do need a refurb, but they're just not bad enough to really warrant spending the money on them, to be honest. So yeah, they clean up well. I put a drill attachment with some auto sole on there over the summer. It makes a huge mess, but it does come up pretty good. So inside, again, reasonable. My fat ass has split the seat. I don't think that's anything to do with my colossal weight, other than the fact that the vinyl is just a bit hard. So yeah, so all in all, it's pretty reasonable. The wooden dash is slightly multicoloured. The gear stick and knob had something else on there, and it rattled like hell. So I just changed it for that, and it sort of stuck. Really dodgy cassette player in there with the flap that broke. I accidentally got my finger stuck in there, and then the flap disappeared down the back of the stereo. So yeah, that pleased me a lot. So as you can see, there is tinted windows on this. Again, this wasn't my doing. I sort of inherited it like it. I can't say I'm a fan of it, but I did spend 150 hours peeling that inside piece off, and I thought I've got better things to do in my life than try and get it off. So yeah, maybe one day I'll have another go at removing the rest of it. It's not the worst thing ever, but yeah, I've just got better things to do. So again, honest review. We've had a few issues with it this year. There is the alternator, which obviously started to boil the battery. Don't know if that's going to focus down there, but this is all battery acid that came shooting out the vents. It decided to charge the battery at 18.5 volts. Wasn't all that keen on that, so the battery survived, the alternator didn't. And then obviously when I went to reconnect the cables, they were charred and crispy. So we had to make a temporary repair on those, again on the list for further action. So 32, 36 carb on there is reasonably new. There's nothing wrong with the other one. It was a proper Italian one apparently. But every 10, 15 minutes it just cut out. Just wouldn't idle. We changed the jets, we rebuilt it, done all sorts of things. Also we had a Piper Cross air filter on there, and that started decaying and all the bits were starting to go down the carb. So that got the boot. I've got a distributor in now, borrowed from Baldy. We're having a few problems with the timing. Hopefully that's sorted. I'm hoping to take it out later today when her indoors comes back from the shop. And I've even had to put that on there because that's how many times I've had to alter the timing. Coils new, that packed up. Yeah, I don't know, it just threw a massive wobbly over the summer, but on the whole it is pretty decent. It's pretty standard. I did have some thoughts about putting a cam in it and everything else, but I weighed out how much it all was going to cost and thought, well, I don't really use it that much, and as there's speed cameras everywhere where I live, ain't much point.